Listen carefully, because what I'm about to share could completely change your perspective on making money from home. While millions of people are stuck trading their time for dollars and jobs they don't love, there's a quiet revolution happening in backyards, greenhouses, and small plots across the country. People are growing their way to financial freedom with plants that sell for $30, $50, even $80 per pound. I'm not talking about tomatoes or lettuce. I'm talking about specialty crops that most people have never heard of, but that chefs, health companies, and wellness-focused consumers are desperately searching for. Plants with profit margins so high they make traditional farming look like a joke. Here's the truth nobody talks about. The biggest money in agriculture isn't in the crops everyone grows, it's in the plants almost nobody knows about. While conventional farmers are fighting over commodity crops that barely break even, smart growers are quietly building wealth with specialty plants that have massive demand and almost zero competition. Today, I'm revealing 20 of these remarkable plants, but I've arranged them strategically, not just by profit potential. Some are perfect for beginners, others require more knowledge but deliver exceptional returns. A few are so unusual that you'll be one of the only suppliers in your entire region. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because Home Gardener posts breakthrough content like this every week. We're building a community of people who understand that real wealth comes from information others don't have. Now, let's get into it. Here are 20 plants that could genuinely transform your financial future. 1. Gotu Kola, the Cognitive Revolution Cash Crop. Let's start strong with one of the most underrated opportunities in specialty crops right now. Gotu Kola, or Centella asiatica, sells for $30 to $60 per pound. And here's why it's remarkable. It serves two explosive markets simultaneously. The cognitive enhancement market is absolutely massive. Students, professionals, entrepreneurs, and aging adults are all looking for natural ways to support brain health and mental clarity. Gotu Kola has been used in Ayurvedic and traditional Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years, specifically for cognitive function, and modern research is now validating these traditional uses. But here's where it gets interesting. The anti-aging skincare industry has discovered Gotu Kola for its wound healing and collagen-supporting properties.
Premium cosmetics companies are incorporating it into high-end products, creating a second revenue stream from the same crop. From a cultivation perspective, Gotu Kola is a perennial ground cover that thrives in moist, warm conditions. You can grow it in partial shade, which means you can utilize spaces that wouldn't work for sun-loving crops. Multiple harvests per year are possible, and once established, it requires minimal maintenance. The business opportunity here is timing. Gotu Kola is still relatively unknown in domestic agriculture, which means minimal competition. As the nootropics trend and clean beauty movements continue expanding, demand will only increase. Early movers will establish themselves as go-to suppliers before the market becomes crowded. 2. Sichuan pepper, exotic culinary gold. Now we're talking about serious money. Sichuan pepper, Xanthoxylum species, commands $40 to $80 per pound, and the demand is growing faster than supply can keep up. This isn't technically a pepper at all. It's the dried husk of a prickly ash tree berry. What makes it extraordinary is the unique tingling, numbing sensation it creates on the tongue, a flavor profile that literally cannot be replicated by any other spice. In authentic Sichuan cuisine, it's absolutely irreplaceable. The profit potential comes from multiple factors. First, authentic Sichuan cuisine is having a major moment in Western food culture. High-end restaurants, food enthusiasts, and home cooks pursuing authentic Asian cooking all need quality Sichuan pepper. Second, domestic production is virtually non-existent, meaning almost all supply is imported. Third, fresh, properly harvested Sichuan pepper is dramatically superior to the old, stale product typically available, which means premium positioning is easy to justify. The plant itself is a deciduous shrub or small tree that can be grown in USDA zones 6 to 9. It produces aromatic leaves that can also be sold to specialized markets, creating dual income from the same plant. The husks are harvested when the fruits split open naturally, then dried carefully to preserve the essential oils that create that signature sensation. Here's the insider knowledge. Timing to harvest correctly and processing properly makes the difference between mediocre product and premium product that commands top dollar. This barrier to entry keeps competition low while allowing knowledgeable growers to dominate their local markets. 3. Ashwagandha, the adaptogen everyone wants. The supplement industry is absolutely exploding, and ashwagandha is one of the star ingredients driving that growth. The dried root sells for $25 to $60 per pound, with organic, domestically grown product commanding the highest prices. Ashwagandha is classified as an adaptogen, a category of herbs that help the body manage stress. In our modern world, stress-related health concerns are everywhere, which has created unprecedented demand for natural stress management solutions. From capsules to powders to tinctures, ashwagandha appears in countless products. The market dynamics are perfect for domestic growers. Most ashwagandha is still imported from India, which means quality varies significantly, shipping costs are substantial, and supply chain disruptions create opportunity. Domestic growers who can produce consistent, high-quality organic roots can command premium pricing and establish direct relationships with supplement manufacturers, health food stores, and even direct-to-consumer brands. Cultivation requires patience, as ashwagandha needs a full growing season before harvest, but the per-plant yield is substantial. It grows as an annual in most climates, thriving in conditions similar to tomatoes. The roots are harvested after the plant flowers and begins to decline, then washed, dried, and sold whole or processed into powder. The real opportunity here is positioning. As consumers become more sophisticated about supplement quality and sourcing, domestically grown, traceable ashwagandha becomes significantly more valuable than generic imported powder. You're not just growing a crop, you're producing a premium ingredient for a market that's willing to pay for quality. 4. Stevia, the natural sweetener revolution. Here's a plant that's riding one of the biggest consumer trends of our time, the movement away from sugar and artificial sweeteners. Stevia leaves sell for $20 to $40 per pound dried, and the market is enormous. Stevia is 200 to 300 times sweeter than sugar, but contains 0 calories and doesn't spike blood sugar. Major beverage companies, food manufacturers, and health-conscious consumers are all looking for natural sweetening solutions, and stevia is the leading natural option. What most people don't realize is that there are multiple markets for stevia. Yes, large companies buy processed stevia extract, but there's also a robust market for simple dried stevia leaves. Tea drinkers, home bakers, and people making their own health products want the unprocessed leaf. This market is accessible to small growers in ways that the industrial extract market isn't. Stevia grows as a tender perennial in warm climates, zones 9 to 11, or as an annual elsewhere. The plants are attractive, compact, and produce abundant leaves throughout the growing season.
Multiple harvests are possible, with the highest sweetness levels occurring just before flowering. The business strategy here is diversification. Sell fresh leaves to local customers, sell dried leaves in bulk to tea companies and health food stores, package small amounts for retail sale at farmers markets, create value-added products like stevia-sweetened herbal tea blends. One crop, multiple revenue streams. As artificial sweetener concerns grow and sugar consumption awareness increases, stevia's market position only strengthens. You're growing a crop that's aligned with major health trends that show no signs of slowing. 5. Tulsi, holy basil, sacred herb, serious profit. Tulsi, Ocimum sanctum, also known as holy basil, represents the perfect intersection of traditional reverence and modern wellness trends. The dried leaves sell for $20 to $45 per pound, with demand coming from multiple market segments. In Hinduism, Tulsi is considered sacred, but its commercial value comes from its adaptogenic properties and its role in Ayurvedic medicine. Western wellness culture has embraced Tulsi tea as a stress relief and immune support beverage, creating explosive demand that traditional suppliers can't keep up with. What makes Tulsi particularly attractive is its growth habit. In warm climates, it's a vigorous, productive perennial. In cooler zones, it grows as an annual, but produces abundant harvests throughout the season. The plants are beautiful, aromatic, and easy to grow, making them suitable for growers with various experience levels. Market opportunities are diverse. Tea companies want consistent supplies of high-quality dried leaves. Supplement manufacturers incorporate Tulsi into capsules and tinctures. Ayurvedic practitioners and wellness centers need reliable sources. Direct-to-consumer sales through farmers markets and online platforms can be highly profitable with proper branding. There are actually three main varieties of Tulsi: Rama, green; Krishna, purple; and Vana, wild. Each has slightly different flavor profiles and traditional uses. Growing multiple varieties allows you to serve different market preferences and command premium pricing for rare varieties like Vana Tulsi. The timing is perfect. Adaptogens are one of the hottest categories in the wellness industry, and Tulsi is one of the most accessible and well-researched options. You're not betting on an unproven trend. You're supplying a market with deep traditional roots and modern scientific validation. 6. Calendula, the skincare industry's secret weapon. The clean beauty revolution has created unprecedented demand for natural, effective skincare ingredients, and Calendula officinalis, is one of the most sought after.
The dried flowers sell for $20 to $50 per pound, with organic product commanding the highest prices. Calendula's skin healing properties aren't marketing hype. They're backed by both traditional use spanning centuries and modern research validating anti-inflammatory and wound healing effects. This combination makes calendula incredibly valuable to the natural skincare industry. The market is remarkably diverse. Large natural cosmetics companies need bulk supplies for creams, lotions, and salves. Small batch artisan soap makers and skincare formulators are constantly looking for high-quality calendula. Herbalists use it in oils, salves, and tinctures. Even the tea market has discovered calendula for its gentle, beneficial properties. Growing calendula is straightforward. It's an annual that thrives in full sun and tolerates a wide range of soil conditions. The key to premium pricing is harvest timing and drying technique. Flowers must be picked at peak bloom and dried carefully to preserve the vibrant orange color and potent properties. Pale, brown calendula sells for much less than bright, properly preserved flowers. Here's the insider advantage. You can create value-added products that multiply your profit margins. Calendula infused oil sells for $20 to $40 per 8-ounce bottle. Calendula salve retails for $8 to $15 per ounce. If you have an entrepreneurial mindset, you can capture significantly more value than just selling dried flowers. The skincare industry shows no signs of moving away from natural ingredients. If anything, the trend is accelerating. Calendula's proven efficacy, beautiful appearance, and relative ease of cultivation make it an ideal crop for growers looking to serve this expanding market. Natural pet stores, high-end pet boutiques, veterinary offices, cat cafes, and online platforms all need suppliers. You can sell bulk to retailers, package small amounts for direct consumer sales, or even create value-added products like catnip toys or catnip silvervine blends. From a cultivation perspective, catnip is incredibly easy. It's a vigorous perennial that tolerates various conditions, requires minimal maintenance, and can be harvested multiple times per season. Organic certification can add 20 to 30% to your selling price, and the requirements for catnip cultivation are very manageable. There's also an interesting secondary market, catnip tea for humans. Yes, it's the same plant, but marketed differently. Catnip tea has mild sedative properties and is used traditionally for stress relief and sleep support. This means you can potentially serve two completely different markets with the same crop. The pet industry continues growing year after year, and the premiumization trend, people paying more for higher quality pet products, is accelerating. You're not betting on a fad, you're supplying a massive, stable market that values quality. 8. Lemon balm, the wellness industry darling. In an era of unprecedented stress and anxiety, lemon balm, Melissa officinalis, has become one of the most sought-after herbs for natural stress relief. The dried leaves sell for $20 to $40 per pound, with demand from multiple market segments. Lemon balm's gentle, effective calming properties are supported by both traditional use and modern research. It's used in stress relief teas, sleep support formulas, tinctures, supplements, and even aromatherapy products. The market includes both traditional herbalists and the massive modern wellness industry. What makes lemon balm particularly attractive for growers is its vigor. Once established, lemon balm spreads enthusiastically, producing abundant harvests with minimal input. It's essentially a self-perpetuating crop that can provide income for years from a single planting.
Multiple harvests per season are standard. The leaves can be cut back several times throughout the growing season, with each cutting producing fresh growth. This means revenue generation isn't limited to a single annual harvest. You're creating ongoing cash flow throughout the growing months. The flavor profile is distinctly lemony, but with complex herbal notes that make it popular in tea blends. Many tea companies specifically seek lemon balm to blend with other calming herbs like chamomile, passionflower, and valerian. Being able to supply consistent quality puts you in an excellent position to establish long-term relationships with tea manufacturers.
There's also growing interest in lemon balm for cognitive support. Research suggests it may help with focus and memory, which has attracted attention from the nootropics market. This creates potential for market expansion beyond just stress relief. The cultivation barrier to entry is low, which might seem like a disadvantage, but here's the key. Most people don't recognize the commercial value, so competition remains limited. Those who do understand the market potential can easily establish profitable operations with relatively small investments. 9. Fenugreek, dual market dominance. Fenugreek offers something particularly valuable: appeal to completely different markets simultaneously. The seeds sell for $15 to $30 per pound, and you can target culinary markets, supplement markets, or both. In the culinary world, fenugreek is essential. It's a key ingredient in curry chowders, spice blends, and traditional dishes across Indian, Middle Eastern, and Ethiopian cuisines. The distinctive maple-like, slightly bitter flavor is irreplaceable in authentic cooking. As global cuisine becomes increasingly mainstream, demand for authentic spices like fenugreek continues growing. The supplement market offers the second revenue stream. Fenugreek is used for blood sugar support, lactation support for nursing mothers, testosterone support, and digestive health. The wellness industry's growth means supplement companies are constantly seeking reliable suppliers of quality botanicals. This dual market dynamic creates business resilience. If one market experiences temporary softness, the other provides stability. You're not dependent on a single customer type or industry trend. From a cultivation standpoint, fenugreek is relatively straightforward. It's an annual legume similar to growing beans or peas. The plants fix nitrogen, actually improving your soil for subsequent crops. Seeds are the harvest, which means easy storage, shipping, and long shelf life compared to leafy herbs. The value proposition is particularly strong for organic certification. Organic fenugreek commands significant premiums in both culinary and supplement markets, and the crop is well suited to organic growing practices. Market access is diverse. Spice companies, ethnic grocery distributors, supplement manufacturers, herb shops, and direct-to-consumer channels all represent potential revenue streams. The broad appeal means you can start small, testing different markets, then scale toward whatever proves most profitable. 10. Hyssop, the historical herb's modern revival. Hyssop, Hyssopus officinalis, carries biblical and historical significance that modern herbalists and tea enthusiasts find compelling. The dried herb sells for $20 to $35 per pound, serving traditional medicine, craft tea, and essential oil markets. The aromatic, slightly minty, complex flavor profile makes hyssop particularly attractive to artisan tea blenders. Small batch tea companies are constantly looking for interesting, unusual herbs with stories behind them. Hyssop delivers both unique flavor and historical narrative, which is exactly what craft tea markets want. Traditional uses include respiratory support, digestive aid, and as a general tonic. While modern medical claims require caution, traditional herbalists maintain strong interest in hyssop, and the wellness community appreciates herbs with long histories of use. The essential oil market provides another potential revenue stream. Hyssop oil is used in aromatherapy and natural perfumery. While oil extraction requires specialized equipment or outsourcing, even selling fresh hyssop to distillers can be profitable. Cultivation is straightforward. Hyssop is a hardy perennial that tolerates drought, poor soil, and neglect while still producing abundantly. The flowering tops are harvested and dried, with timing being crucial for optimal oil content and flavor. One underappreciated advantage: hyssop is extremely attractive to pollinators, particularly bees. This means you can potentially market to beekeepers looking to provide quality forage, creating yet another revenue stream from the same plant.
The herb market is experiencing a renaissance as people seek alternatives to pharmaceutical approaches. Herbs with deep historical roots and proven traditional use are particularly well positioned in this movement. Hyssop fits perfectly into this trend while remaining relatively uncommon in commercial cultivation. The globalization of food culture has created remarkable opportunities for specialty crop growers, and Shiso, Perilla frutescens, is a perfect example. This distinctive herb sells for $20 to $50 per pound, with particularly high demand from restaurants. Shiso's flavor is complex and unique, minty, basil-like, with notes of cinnamon and citrus that nothing else can replicate. It's essential in Japanese and Korean cuisine, used in sushi, as wraps for meat, in pickling, and as a distinctive garnish that upscale restaurants actively seek. The opportunity comes from multiple directions. Japanese and Korean restaurants are opening everywhere, and they all need consistent shiso supplies. Home cooks discovering Asian cuisine want access to authentic ingredients. The farmers market crowd loves unusual, flavorful herbs. Each market segment will pay premium prices for quality. Both green and purple varieties have commercial value, with purple shiso particularly prized for pickling and its dramatic visual appeal.
Growing both varieties allows you to serve different customer preferences and command premium pricing for the less common purple type. From a cultivation perspective, Shiso is an annual that grows vigorously in warm weather. It self-seeds enthusiastically, meaning you may only need to plant once, then manage volunteers in subsequent years. The plants are attractive enough to sell as ornamentals, creating another potential market. Restaurant sales are particularly attractive because they involve regular, ongoing orders rather than one-time purchases. Establishing relationships with chefs who depend on your shiso creates stable, recurring revenue. The broader trend is clear. What was exotic 5 years ago is becoming standard in upscale dining. Smart growers position themselves ahead of these trends, establishing supply relationships before the market becomes crowded. Shiso is currently in that sweet spot: growing demand, limited supply, premium positioning. 12. Culantro, the cilantro that commands higher prices. Culantro, Erigum fetidum, is the herb everyone confuses with cilantro, but it's actually far more valuable. It sells for $15 to $30 per pound, with strong demand from Latin American and Southeast Asian communities. The flavor is similar to cilantro, but significantly more intense and robust. It holds up better in cooking, which makes it preferred in long-simmered dishes like sofrito, recaito, Thai curries, and Vietnamese pho. For people from cultures where culantro is traditional, it's not optional, it's essential to authentic flavor. Here's the market opportunity. Culantro is incredibly rare in regular grocery stores. People who want it have to hunt for it in ethnic markets, and even there, supply is often inconsistent and quality varies. This supply gap creates opportunity for local growers who can provide fresh, high-quality culantro consistently. The cultural food market is substantial and growing. As immigration continues and ethnic cuisines become increasingly mainstream, demand for authentic ingredients expands. Culantro is riding both trends. Growing culantro requires understanding its preferences. It thrives in warm, humid conditions and partial shade, which makes it suitable for regions or microclimates where full sun crops struggle. It's slower growing than cilantro, but the premium pricing more than compensates for longer production time. Market access is straightforward. Ethnic grocery stores, Latin American and Asian restaurants, and farmers markets in diverse neighborhoods all represent potential customers. Direct relationships with chefs who depend on your shiso create stable, recurring revenue.
The broader lesson here is valuable. Ethnic specialties represent enormous business opportunities when you're one of the few people supplying them. You don't need mass appeal when you have passionate niche demand and minimal competition. 13. Lovage, the chef's secret ingredient. Lovage, Levisticum officinale, is the herb that almost nobody knows about, but the people who know about it will pay premium prices. It sells for $15 to $30 per pound, and chefs absolutely love it. The flavor is complex and intense, described as celery meets parsley meets something uniquely its own. High-end restaurants use lovage to add depth to soups, stocks, salads, and garnishes. Because it's virtually unknown in mainstream markets, supply is incredibly limited, which supports premium pricing. From a business perspective, lovage offers significant advantages.
It's a perennial that comes back year after year with minimal maintenance. Once established, it's almost indestructible, tolerating cold, heat, and neglect. Multiple harvests per season are standard, and the plant becomes more productive as it matures. The farm-to-table movement has created unprecedented demand for unusual, flavorful herbs that set restaurants apart. Chefs want ingredients their competitors don't have. Lovage delivers exactly that. Marketing Lovage requires educating potential customers, but this actually works in your favor. When you introduce a chef to Lovage and they discover how versatile and delicious it is, you've created a loyal customer who will order regularly. The education barrier keeps competition low while allowing you to build strong relationships. Beyond fresh sales, dried Lovage has value in the herb and spice trade. The seeds are also used in some applications, creating potential for additional revenue from mature plants. The scarcity factor is crucial here. Lovage isn't in grocery stores, it isn't widely cultivated commercially, but the people who want it really want it, and they'll pay for it. That combination is the foundation of profitable specialty crop production. 14. Mexican Tarragon, the heat-loving substitute that commands premium prices. Mexican Tarragon, Tagetes lucida, fills a crucial gap in the herb market, and smart growers are capitalizing on it. While French tarragon is temperamental and won't grow in many climates, Mexican tarragon thrives in heat and provides a similar anise-like flavor. The opportunity is geographic. If you're in a climate where French tarragon struggles, basically anywhere with hot summers, you can supply Mexican tarragon to everyone who wants that flavor profile.
Chefs in southern regions are discovering it as a reliable substitute, and increasingly they're preferring it for its robust growth and consistent availability. The flavor is slightly different from French tarragon, with hints of anise, but also subtle notes that some describe as more complex. In blind taste tests, many people actually prefer Mexican tarragon's more nuanced flavor. From a cultivation standpoint, Mexican tarragon is dramatically easier than French tarragon. It grows vigorously in full sun and heat, conditions where French tarragon wilts. It's essentially a set-it-and-forget-it perennial in zones 8 to 10 and can be grown as an annual in cooler climates. The regional cuisine movement favors plants that grow well locally. Mexican tarragon is perfect for this trend. You're offering a flavorful, reliable herb that thrives in your specific climate rather than struggling to grow something suited to France. Market positioning is key. Don't just present Mexican tarragon as a substitute, position it as a superior choice for your climate, which happens to provide a similar flavor to French tarragon. Chefs appreciate suppliers who understand that working with what grows well locally produces better results than forcing unsuitable crops. The profit potential comes from serving a specific need, tarragon flavor, in regions where the traditional option doesn't work well. That niche positioning, combined with strong demand from restaurants, creates a profitable opportunity with limited competition. Epazote, the essential Mexican herb nobody grows commercially. Epazote, or Dysphaenia ambrozoides, is one of those herbs that people who know about it consider absolutely essential, but it's nearly impossible to find fresh outside ethnic markets. It sells for $12 to $25 per pound. The pungent, distinctive flavor is fundamental in Mexican cooking, particularly with beans, quesadillas, and traditional soups. Dried epazote exists, but it's dramatically inferior to fresh. This creates a classic supply gap, strong demand for fresh product, almost no one growing it commercially for local markets. Mexican cuisine is one of the most popular in America, with Mexican restaurants outnumbering most other ethnic restaurant types. Yet many of the traditional herbs remain hard to find fresh, creating opportunities for suppliers who recognize the gap. From a cultivation standpoint, epazote is almost too easy. It grows like a weed, self-seeding aggressively and thriving with minimal care. In fact, many regions consider it an invasive weed. But, as we've learned, aggressive growth and low production costs translate directly to profit when there's demand.
The market is straightforward. Mexican restaurants, Latin American grocery stores, and farmers markets in neighborhoods with significant Mexican populations. Direct relationships with restaurants are particularly valuable, as they need regular supplies for authentic dishes. One interesting advantage, because epazote is so easy to grow and self-seeds readily, your production costs after the first year can be almost zero. You're essentially managing a crop that perpetuates itself while you harvest and sell. The profit margins become exceptional.
The broader principle is important. Sometimes the best markets are the ones everyone else is ignoring. Epazote has been dismissed by mainstream agriculture because it's strongly flavored and unfamiliar to most Americans. But unfamiliarity creates opportunity when you're serving the people who know exactly what they want and can't find it elsewhere. 16. Purslane, the weed worth more than spinach. Here's something remarkable. That succulent weed you've been pulling from your garden is actually worth $15 to $30 per pound, and it's more nutritious than most vegetables you can buy. Purslane, or Portulaca oleracea, is about to change how you think about valuable crops. Purslane contains more omega-3 fatty acids than spinach or most other leafy greens. It's packed with vitamins A, C, and E, minerals, and antioxidants. The crisp, slightly lemony texture makes it delicious raw in salads or cooked in various dishes. Health-conscious consumers and upscale restaurants are discovering purslane's nutritional value and unique flavor. The farm-to-table movement embraces foraged and underutilized plants, which has put purslane in the spotlight. Mediterranean and Middle Eastern restaurants have always used it, and now mainstream food culture is catching up. Here's the beautiful business proposition. Purslane grows like crazy with minimal care. What most people spend time and energy removing from their gardens could be your cash crop. The nutritional profile justifies premium pricing, especially when marketed as a superfood green. The growth rate is exceptional. Purslane can be harvested repeatedly throughout the growing season, with plants quickly regenerating after cutting. In warm climates, it produces from spring through fall. The abundant growth means substantial yields from relatively small spaces. Marketing is key. Don't call it a weed. Position it as a nutrient-dense superfood green, an omega-3 rich vegetable, or a traditional Mediterranean ingredient. The framing changes everything about perceived value. Modern wellness trends favor nutrient-dense foods, and purslane fits perfectly. From paleo to Mediterranean to plant-based diets, purslane aligns with multiple popular dietary approaches.
That broad appeal creates market resilience. The lesson here is profound. Sometimes the most profitable crops are the ones hiding in plain sight, dismissed by conventional thinking, but valued by informed consumers. Purslane proves that weed and wealth can be the same thing when you know the market. 17. Yaupon holly, America's only native caffeinated plant. This one is absolutely fascinating from both botanical and business perspectives. Yaupon holly, Ilex vomitoria, is the only native North American plant containing caffeine, and the dried leaves sell for $30 to $70 per pound. Yaupon produces a caffeinated tea that's smooth, flavorful, and doesn't have the jitters some people experience from coffee. The caffeine content is moderate, providing gentle energy without the crash. For the growing tea alternative market, Yaupon represents a genuinely unique offering. The market dynamics are excellent. Consumer interest in tea alternatives and locally sourced products is exploding. Yaupon checks all the boxes. It's locally grown, in the Southeast, sustainable, unique, and genuinely American. The story sells itself. Yaupon grows wild across the southeastern United States, but commercial cultivation is still in its infancy. This means massive opportunity for early movers who establish themselves as primary suppliers before the market matures. From a cultivation perspective, Yaupon is a perennial shrub requiring minimal maintenance once established. It tolerates various soil conditions, handles drought well, and can be harvested multiple times per year. The young leaves and stems are harvested, then processed into tea. There's fascinating historical context. Native Americans used Yaupon ceremonially for centuries. European colonists gave it an unfortunate Latin name that suppressed interest for generations. But modern markets don't care about old prejudices. They care about unique, high-quality products with good stories. Marketing Yaupon taps into multiple trends: local food, American-grown products, unique botanicals, sustainable agriculture, and healthy caffeine alternatives. The convergence of these trends creates exceptional positioning. The business opportunity is being part of a market renaissance. You're not creating demand from scratch. You're serving growing interest in a product that's been culturally significant for millennia, but commercially underutilized. That's the sweet spot for profitable specialty crops. 18. Moringa, the miracle tree that actually lives up to the hype. Moringa, or Moringa oleifera, is one of the most nutrient-dense plants on Earth. The dried leaves sell for $20 to $40 per pound, and demand is exploding across multiple markets.
The nutritional profile is genuinely remarkable. Moringa leaves contain high levels of vitamins, minerals, protein, and antioxidants. The supplement industry can't get enough of it. Health-conscious consumers are adding moringa powder to smoothies and recipes, and the wellness market continues expanding its moringa product offerings. From a business perspective, moringa offers several advantages. The tree grows incredibly fast, sometimes 15 feet in the first year in optimal conditions. Multiple harvests per season are standard, as you're harvesting leaves rather than waiting for fruit or root crops. Once established, maintenance requirements are minimal. The market is diverse and growing. Supplement companies need bulk supplies for capsules and powders. Health food stores want packaged moringa products. Tea companies are incorporating moringa into blends. Direct-to-consumer sales through farmers markets and online platforms can be highly profitable with proper branding. Most moringa is still imported, which creates opportunity for domestic growers. Quality control is better when you're growing locally, shipping costs are lower, and consumers increasingly value knowing where their supplements come from, which favors domestic producers. Moringa thrives in warm climates, zones 9 to 11, but can be grown in containers and brought indoors in cooler regions. The temperature sensitivity might seem limiting, but it actually creates geographic advantages for growers in appropriate climates. You're serving a national market from a limited growing region. The health and wellness trend shows no signs of slowing, and moringa is positioned as a premier superfood ingredient. The combination of genuine nutritional value, multiple market channels, and renewable harvests creates a compelling business case. 19. Duckweed, the NASA-researched protein powerhouse. Duckweed might be the ultimate hidden opportunity in agriculture. This tiny aquatic plant that most people consider pond scum sells for $20 to $60 per pound dried, and it's one of the most remarkable plants on Earth. Duckweed, Wolffia and Lemna species, is the fastest growing plant in existence. It can double its biomass in 24 to 48 hours under optimal conditions. But here's what makes it commercially valuable. It's 40 to 45% protein by dry weight, higher than soybeans and most animal feeds. NASA researched duckweed as a potential food source for long space missions. That's not marketing hype, that's scientific validation of its remarkable nutritional properties. The markets are diverse and growing. The supplement industry wants duckweed for protein powder, particularly as interest in sustainable protein sources increases. The animal feed industry is discovering it as a sustainable, high-protein alternative to soy and fish meal. The health food industry is exploring it for human consumption. Aquaculture operations use it as fish food. Here's the business opportunity. You can grow massive amounts of duckweed in small spaces using simple ponds or tanks. The growth rate is extraordinary. The protein content justifies premium pricing, and most people have no idea this market even exists. The production system is scalable. Start with a small pond or tank, prove the model, then expand as markets develop. The capital requirements are low compared to traditional agriculture, and the yield per square foot is exceptional. Duckweed disappeared from agricultural consciousness simply because it looks like pond scum. It's not glamorous, it's not sexy, but for anyone serious about building wealth through specialty crops, duckweed is extraordinarily undervalued. This is like discovering that something everyone throws away is actually worth more than gold, and you're among the few who knows it. 20. Rhodiola, the Arctic adaptogen with premium pricing. Let's finish with one of the highest value crops on this list. Rhodiola rosea, also called Arctic root or golden root, sells for $40 to $100 per pound for quality dried root. This is serious money for a plant most people have never heard of. Rhodiola is classified as an adaptogen, specifically prized for energy, endurance, and mental performance. Athletes, students, professionals, and anyone dealing with fatigue or stress are discovering rhodiola's benefits. The supplement market for rhodiola is substantial and growing rapidly. What makes rhodiola particularly valuable is cultivation difficulty and time requirements. Rhodiola grows slowly, requiring 3 to 5 years before harvest. It needs cold winters to thrive, limiting where it can be grown successfully. These barriers to entry keep competition low and prices high. For growers in appropriate climates, zones 2 to 7 with cold winters, Rhodiola represents a long-term investment with exceptional returns. While you wait for harvest maturity, you can grow faster cycling crops between Rhodiola rows, creating income while your premium crop develops. The market dynamics favor domestic production. Most rhodiola is wild harvested in Siberia, Scandinavia, and other remote regions. Quality varies dramatically. Over-harvesting threatens wild populations. Domestic cultivation addresses all these concerns while commanding premium pricing. Supplement companies actively seek reliable domestic suppliers of rhodiola root. The demand far exceeds domestic supply, which means established growers can build long-term relationships with buyers who need consistent sources.
The investment timeline requires patience, but the returns justify the wait. Once established, rhodiola plants produce for decades. You're creating a perennial income stream that continues producing year after year with minimal inputs. For growers willing to think long-term and who have appropriate climate conditions, rhodiola represents one of the most profitable specialty crops available. The combination of high demand, limited domestic production, significant barriers to entry, and premium pricing creates exceptional profit potential. Conclusion: the real path to wealth through specialty crops. If you've stayed with me through all 20 plants, you now possess knowledge that most farmers and gardeners simply don't have. You understand that the most profitable crops aren't the ones everyone grows. They're the specialty plants serving passionate niche markets with limited supply and premium pricing. These 20 plants represent a fundamental shift in thinking about agriculture and wealth building. Instead of competing in commodity markets with razor-thin margins, you're serving premium markets where customers actively seek you out and willingly pay exceptional prices. The beauty of this approach is accessibility. You don't need hundreds of acres. Many of these crops thrive on small plots, in greenhouses, or even indoors. You don't need massive capital investment. You don't need to compete with industrial agriculture. What you need is knowledge, which you now have, and willingness to serve markets that others are ignoring. These plants became overlooked not because they lack value, but because they don't fit industrial agriculture models. They require knowledge. They serve niche markets. They reward quality over quantity. And that's exactly what makes them perfect for growers ready to build real wealth. Some of these crops you can start growing this season. Others require more planning, investment, or specific climate conditions. The key is choosing the ones that match your situation, your climate, your available space, and your risk tolerance. Maybe you start with the easy, fast-growing options like lemon balm or purslane. Maybe you're ready to invest in long-term, high-value crops like rhodiola or ashwagandha. Maybe you diversify across multiple crops to spread risk and test different markets. Whatever path you choose, you're now equipped with information that can genuinely transform your financial future. Here's what I want you to do next. First, smash that like button if this information opened your eyes to possibilities you didn't know existed. Second, drop a comment below telling me which plant you're most excited about growing. Are you team adaptogens? Team culinary herbs? Team exotic specialty crops? I read every comment and I genuinely want to hear from you. Third, and this is crucial, if you haven't already subscribed to Home Gardener, do it right now. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're building a community of people who understand that financial independence doesn't come from following the crowd. It comes from finding opportunities everyone else is missing. We post videos like this every week, revealing profitable strategies, specialty crops, and wealth-building approaches that conventional wisdom ignores. I want you to be part of this community. The information you gain today could genuinely change your financial trajectory, but information without action is just entertainment. The question now is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? The market is waiting. The demand is real. The profit potential is exceptional. All that's missing is growers who understand the opportunity and have the courage to pursue it. Will that be you? Thanks for watching Home Gardener. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll dive even deeper into building wealth through specialized agriculture. Now get out there and start growing your fortune.